When Disneyland Paris opened in 1992, its opening was not as successful as expected, and a lot of its Phase 2 projects were put on hold. Behind the scenes, a small group of Imagineers were tasked with the Disneyland Paris Additional Capacity project, designed to add several small attractions to the park in order to increase the park's capacity. All of these attractions were done on a shoestring budget, and half of them utilised already existing infrastructure within the park. Between 1992 and 1995, Disneyland Paris added 10 attractions, all before the major expansion Space Mountain de la Terre à la Lune opened in June 1995, which would be the park's last expansion. So let's take a tour around the park, going land by land to discuss every attraction added as part of Disneyland Paris's Additional Capacity project. We begin our tour with the entrance to Frontierland. The Fortress entrance was opened in 1993, becoming Legends of the Wild West. This walkthrough attraction allows guests to explore the upper floor of Fort Comstock, passing by wax figures of characters from the Wild West, including Davy Crockett and Buffalo Bill. At the other end of Frontierland, the Chaparral Theatre opened in 1994, a simple outdoor stage located in an expansion pad near Critter Corral. The first show to perform at this theatre was the Hillbilly Hoedown, a country and western dance show featuring some odd characters including Brer Bear, the Country Bears, and Chip and Dale. Over the years, the Chaparral Theatre would be the home to several more shows, eventually morphing into the closed Frontierland Theatre in 2019. Heading into Adventureland, both new additions opened in 1993. Encroaching on the border of a large expansion pad on the west side of Adventureland, Indiana Jones et le Temple de Peril opened as the resort's second roller coaster after Big Thunder Mountain, and was the first roller coaster in a Disney park to feature an inversion. This roller coaster seemed to be a combination of several larger projects originally planned for this section of the park, as revealed on the 1992 Disneyland Paris Fun Map. Rather than Indiana Jones et le Temple de Peril, the original plan was to build a large Jeep attraction and an Indiana Jones mine train around a giant temple. As the Additional Capacity project had a much smaller budget, a smaller Indiana Jones et le Temple de Peril was built in its place. Moving over to the entrance to Adventureland from Main Street, a very small walkthrough attraction was built that opened in 1993 called Aladdin's Enchanted Passage. Capitalising on the recent success of the 1992 film Aladdin, a small vacant building in the Middle East-inspired section of Adventureland was transformed by adding models of scenes from the movie, telling the story of Aladdin. Fantasyland saw the most additions as part of the Additional Capacity project, beginning with the park opening in 1992. A last-minute addition to Sleeping Beauty Castle, La Galerie de la Belle à Bois Dormant, is a walkthrough attraction on the upper level of the castle. The attraction tells the story of Sleeping Beauty through stained glass windows and tapestries, before guests exit onto the castle balcony, getting unique views of Fantasyland. A year later, in 1993, another way to view Fantasyland was added when a Ferris wheel was attached to the back of the old mill snack stand, called Les Pirouettes de Vieux Moulin. Inspired by the original plans for Disneyland's Fantasyland in the 1950s, this was actually the first Ferris wheel in the Disney park. The Old Mill Ferris wheel would be the shortest lived attraction added as part of the Additional Capacity project, ultimately closing in 2000. When it opened, the attraction faced a construction zone, before Les Pays de Contes de Fées and Casey Jr.'s Le Petit Train de Cirque opened in 1994, in half of an expansion pad located behind the train track. Both attractions offered differing views of Storybook Land, featuring miniatures of various fairy tales from around the world that have appeared in Disney films, including The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, meaning those properties did make it into an attraction at the park, just not the two originally planned to be added to the park. We finally arrive in Discoveryland, where the first edition was also an addition to the Disneyland Railroad, when the Discoveryland train station was added in 1993 above Star Tours, alongside an additional train that could run on the track. The major addition to Discoveryland as part of the additional capacity project was Les Mystères du Nautilus, which opened in 1994. However, the Nautilus was nearly not built, as a decision had to be made between building Tony Baxter's Nautilus or Jim Shaw's Bonjour Mickey. Bonjour Mickey was to be a permanent indoor meet and greet location for Mickey Mouse, to be located in Fantasyland between Pizzeria Belle Notte and Auberge de Cendrillon. After the cancellation of Discovery Mountain, it was decided that Les Mystères du Nautilus should receive the funding instead. So, a walkthrough attraction recreating the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was created, actually taking guests behind Discoveryland rather than into the prop Nautilus guests can see outside of Space Mountain. The Disneyland Paris additional capacity project added up to 10 attractions to Disneyland Park between 1992 and 1994, with most of these being walk-through attractions in existing infrastructures, or small attraction expansions. Ultimately, the addition of Space Mountain in 1995 would actually be that park's most recent expansion, with more attractions opening in a 3-year gap between 1992 and 1994 than between the 20-year gap between 1995 and today. Hopefully, one day, Disneyland Paris Park will add a new attraction in the not too distant future, even if it's something on a similar scale to those attractions added as part of the additional capacity project. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you want to see next on the Distory channel.